Oh gosh. Um, okay. All right.
Okay. You want to go for 10?
10. Sounds
Okay.
awesome.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't even know what year it is or what how far along things have gone. Um, we've been doing this Kylego process for quite a while now, a number of years or a number of months. It doesn't really matter because I felt like the time and space have kind of just started to like be interestingly liquid and just very like things cycle back, things cycle forward, and it doesn't really matter sometimes because you can do these things when you're far in the future or you look back at something that's like a gem from the very beginning and you think there are timeless moments and this is the time where time and space kind of stay still, but you can like live in whatever reality you wanted at that time or that you want in the future time. So I really find that to be very valuable. Um, One of the things that Rita and I talked about earlier on was talking about valuing ourselves and valuing our time and valuing and possibly changing prices and doing all of this stuff too. And it took a little while to get really focused and clear on a new language and a new way of being and a new way of talking about these things because of this achievement culture that still permeates in so many things, so many things like coaching and art. And it's you go into a creative profession and it's still so there that having to take some time just to really be present with yourself is just so valuable. It's almost like I felt like I needed to take more time, just like I felt like a bird who was laying an egg or a dog or something that was pregnant and needed time just to incubate and to really focus on a new language and to focus on my a new way of being and a new way that I was kind of happening. So I realized that sometimes I'm in a cocoon and you're just not quite sure what the language is or what the rules are and that you're breaking rules every day. So getting comfortable with that breaking rules every day is like it has never stopped. So, but it's just one of those things where you have to kind of say, I'm breaking the rules again, and you just sort of let it go. So that's one lesson that I know I started learning earlier on. I'm still learning. Every day is like a new opportunity to break a rule, to to value myself more, and to realize that as I walk on this earth, and if I value myself more, just by doing that, I give permission to somebody else. And yeah, I may raise my prices up, and maybe some people won't come to me for web designer coaching anymore because I'm kind of out of their price range. Every now and then I will give them an opportunity to come work with me. That's either free or um, at a reduced price because I really wanted to just reach out and just to recharge and at the time it felt right. But in general, it's just about me valuing myself more and knowing that I have bigger gifts and bigger things to share. And if I do have that, then it's my time is I can only work with so many people personally, one on one, and I do value the times that Rita and I have once a week thing that we've always been doing. And I've got a few other things like that that are like non-negotiable times. And if I know that I have just this slip of time, then I know that I can't reach everybody I want to. I can't do every website that wants to come on my plate. And so, but I still need to like live in the world. And and as and more things can come to me and I can give more to the world. You know, so I view abundance and money and achievement a little differently. It's more of an opportunity. It's this other currency that Rita and I talked about at one point, whether it's the future or the past, I'm not sure. Um, So this currency of time, this currency of value, and this currency of quiet is still working and it's still melding and gelling. Um, but yeah, it's when I find I value myself a little more, the other people in my life, lots of things just fall away. The problems that I thought were problems are not problems. The only problem is some people want to work with me and then they say, I can't afford you. And I'm like, well, of course you can. You can find something that's free that I do. I'm totally able to give you lots of free stuff. I give so many people free things. And if that's enough for you, that's enough for you. And I'm very happy. And do you want to come along for a bigger, deeper ride? That's kind of fun too. And, Rita's also been doing that too. And she incubates paintings on her easel. And some of these are just incredibly fabulous. Some of them are very small and tiny, but they're just like worlds inside worlds. And so those things that come out, when they come out and they're kind of birthed, they are valuable. They're like valuable creations and museum quality valuable. And you can't put a price tag on a Mona Lisa like that. You can't just give it out and expect it to be churned out one after another after another. So if I do a website now that's like it takes me a couple months to really come out and really strong attention. I do video with people now, and we curate something that's really amazing rather than somebody who's just starting out who wants a small site, who's still living in scarcity. You can find that anywhere. I even refer people to other people who do that, but when they're ready for like the big stuff that where they show up totally amazing and they know they've shifted, and because everybody else is down here in the trenches producing one after another, but they know with me that I'm going to focus on them for like 2, sometimes 3 months. That's the thing with my coaching too. And then I don't have a lot of spots, but they know that I'm bringing everything I got. And some of the creations are just incredible. I can pull things out of them and things out of me. It's this co-creation process. And so it's a $3,000 website is not unusual for me. Whereas I would normally do like $500 or $700 or $900 things. A $3,000 website, when I am completely focused with someone, is about me valuing me and me valuing them, because everything is so worth it. And it's like, just like a $3,000 painting is so worth that time for that person, because it's customized and it's them and it's the world. And so income comes slower, but when it does, it's nice, and it allows me that time to recharge. So if I need to read a book, I can read a book, and that comes into what I'm working on. So if I read a Sark book, I use it in my coaching. If I read a book by Kyle Cease or I do something like that, that's coming into me in the moment, I use it in my coaching because it's coming through me in the moment and it's authentic. And but if I didn't have the time, I wouldn't be able to do that, to read the books, to meet people, to do the free things. And those things that I discover come through me so that I can actually connect at a better, well, not better, but at a more personal level, one-on-one. So it's just about me valuing that time and valuing myself and valuing the work I do, because as I grow, my work grows. And I would stay small and little if I didn't do that. And it's not about making the money, although it is nice. Um, it's about feeling the love of the universe coming through. And when I make a little more money, I can give money. I can finally give to charity again. I haven't been able to do that for a few years. And I can give to charity. I can give a job to a virtual assistant of something that he or she really loves to do, that I'm like, okay, you take care of that. That's not really my passion. So yeah, you can be a job creator, and I can be a mentor to another person who's kind of like me, because I've been there. And maybe they're my virtual assistant who's growing, or maybe they are a coach that I'm training. They've like taken the time to really train and mentor with me, and I can aid in their growth while they're in that level too. So it all becomes like another opportunity to teach, and another opportunity to be close, and another opportunity to give back to the world. And so and even if you make more money, it's like I end up hiring people. So and there's a set point where it's like, okay, I know what I can live on. I know what I'm happy with. And then it's like, okay, how can we play even more? Do I need to hire an assistant here? Do I need to replace this job that I do to give me more time? Because I'm finding that that's a pinch. So
Should we do the supercharging after?
yeah, let's do that.
Okay, good. I'll go.
Okay.
All right. So it's April. It's a month after Scott and I talked about valuing ourselves more and what that means and what it means not just for us but for the world, for our creations, for money, for our growth, for other people's growth. And it feels like that was a conversation we had months ago. And time is just slowing down so much. And so much gets packed into it. Like a toddler learns something new every day, vocabulary, a new skill, a new concept, a new game. And meanwhile, all their cells are regenerating and growing, and we all expect that. And I started to just expect that for myself, and almost got that feeling of annoying parents that you should see what she said today. She was so smart today. I didn't tell everyone about it, but I had that feeling of, wow, that was amazing. And yeah, every toddler goes through this. So it's not amazing, but it is when you're watching it. And you've seen somebody go from being so just a helpless little being that needs everything done for them to start doing things for themselves and figuring out the world, and the energy that goes into and comes out of that being of wonder that a toddler is, and the constant feeling that goes on, and the immersion in what they're doing, and the no excuses for anything, or no justifications for anything. They just do what they do because they want to, and it's fascinating to them. It just became like that. There was no like, look at me, look what I'm doing. It just was a draw somehow that I can't even explain yet. Maybe that'll be next month that I can explain it. But I'm making plans to go to this Oil Painters of America convention, which would have been just like, people, all these artists needing to find the next looking past me while I'm talking to them, because there might be somebody with a checkbook behind me. I feel excited about going, because I'm going with the sense of experimentation, of taking my circle of quiet, and this phone is ringing a lot. I've made hotel arrangements for my for this convention, and I'm actually excited about it because I'm feeling my circle of quiet. It's almost like I'm creating this gravitational field, and people are appreciating it even though they don't know what it is. And I'm so excited to take that to the artists at the convention. And maybe maybe they'll just bounce off of it. I don't know. Maybe they're just so involved in the marketplace and the schmoozing of being with collectors, having collectors around, that the artists will bounce off, but maybe the collectors will come into my field of quiet. And so that has a whole different feeling than of what it used to be like. Oh, I need to go because I need to go have FaceTime with people who are part of my world, and this is what you do when you're a professional, and all of that, all those shoulds that I used to do very competently without a lot of joy, unless there was like a success attached to it, like I had gained a new collector or something like that, sold the painting, won the award. I haven't won any awards, so maybe my circle of quiet will suck in that gold medal and the $25,000 that comes with it. I'm open to that possibility, because Scott and I, as we've been talking this past month about valuing ourselves, and I'm feeling the value come off of my paintings here. Like before that, there was a distinction of letting love be poured into the paintings for the people who would eventually own them and be with them and feel God's love coming through them so that they could quiet down, because I already have that, so I need to not be greedy and want more. So there was this new distinction of, I get to also be fed even more from the work I've already done. And even within this past month, like whoever buys the painting at the OPA show is going to get a bargain, because this past month my prices have gone up. I've put a double, they're $20 per square inch, because I feel the value of what I've done for the last really 20 years. I mean, it started out in little tiny baby steps that I was just falling on my face right and left. But the last 5 years, 6 years has just gotten really concentrated, and I'm so valuing that I feel it's all been put into this work that someone is going to eventually have in their own space. And I get to be fed from all the work that I've done and all the value that I've put into these paintings, into the world, by being brave enough to, there's that word again, by being brave enough to say no thank you to the rules that the world puts on us as entrepreneurs and creative people, and the restrictions that come with that. I just say no thanks. I'm going to do it my own way. I'm going to break your rules, and I'm not going to need you to understand it in any way, but I value it because it's not because I'm special, it's because God made me a certain way, and I am going to totally embody that, and I value that. And that has already brought just like this whole new way of being and this whole different energy. And I've been able to feel when the world, someone else's feelings bumps up against my circle of quiet. And I don't need to let it in. And that's that. Mm. Yeah, will you?
Sure.
Okay. How long do you want to go?
5.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So, and Rita and I have talked about valuing ourselves, and Rita was talking about her experience to me of the oil painters of America, and all of the things that she had one time had kind of gone through, and some of the the internal resistances that this is a tour or a task. This is the she'd been trying to get in, and then she like got in, and now all these things come up, and so it's really interesting. But um, it's so great because when she, being a unique person at this Oil Painters of America, came through, and I can't speak for all of the impact that she made, but I know that she made an impact on a few artists and some collectors there. And her ideas of getting quiet and really being this meditative and lens through which our goodness and our creativity from God comes through, and how this can be an energy that can affect the world, and that can create relaxing spaces and meditative spaces beyond just an art collection, and how she really projected her heart in an authentic way at this the oil painters convention, and um, really won over a lot of people just with this quiet presence. That was some, and she didn't play the game of like wondering what to say or what not to say when someone behind her, like she said, when someone behind her like might have a checkbook or want to buy a painting. But she didn't play the game, but she let things happen. She let it evolve, and paintings found their owners who valued this sense of quiet and this sense of you know here's I have a piece of Rita, not just a painting that I collect, but I have a piece of her and this idea of quiet and groundedness and value. And it's like the frame on the painting became a reframe for my life. That was one thing that someone said to her. It was like, I'm a collector, but I feel like this is now reframed a life, and reframed a my own patterns and feelings of what I do. It's not so in quiet ways she could shift even that culture, even if she shifted one or two people, or at least and she talks about it. Yeah, a few people were like walking off and in their own zone, but perhaps there are some folks there that she really did touch, even on the outsides, like the mouse who kind of has the corners of the cheese that you know um, the corners are being worn away, and Rita is showing herself as a little bit of a quiet force to wear away the corners. And yeah, sure, her paintings are more valuable, and she saw how artists started to devalue their work, but she didn't do that. And this quietness about that, and not having to apologize. And she also like came through this with nothing to lose. That was her feeling. She has nothing to lose by going or not going, by meeting the next collector or not meeting the next collector. And that set her at a whole state of ease at this show that she had never imagined she would feel. That state of ease, because knowing there was nothing to lose, because a lot of it was artificial, but she could still remain in that quiet space. And perhaps through her being authentic, other people could just be in their quiet space. Um, you never saw any art show where people just sort of stood there and let things sort of be and wash over them, rather than having to ask too many questions. And that was one of the things she told me. Like, people didn't ask me very many questions, but they just sort of, I got things through to them without having to force it. And it's just a new way of like showing art. Art should be that way. We don't have to force it. It can just be there, and like a book that we don't necessarily have to read every day, it's there and it supports us. A painting that we don't necessarily have to have a 5,000 page treatise about it. It's there for her to be her presence. And even if it's in the other room, it's still there in your home.
So good. So good. Okay. I'm going to supercharge yours. I made a couple of notes while you were talking during yours. So we are, Scott and I have been doing these Kylegos for a long time. I don't even know. He's so wonderful. He keeps track of everything. And I just come along. And Scott, you have gone into this whole new language of being, where you value your time and your work and how people respond and benefit from the work that you give them. And you have this really nice balance between coaching clients and web design clients. And you fit them in as it works for you, because that's a good way to do it. How else are they going to get everything that you have and experience the value and the benefits of your work if you don't fit them in as it works for you? That just has become your way of doing things. And it's not even like a big milestone every time you bump up your prices. It's just, oh, well, this is going to work for me better. And because it works for me better, it's going to work for my clients better. So, yeah. So now it's a little more than it was a month ago. And the clients are feeling the benefit of your work so much that's just like nothing to them. Well, okay, yeah, but just keep me on the list is their feeling, because I really love what we're doing. It's not even about, for them, it's not even about my website's getting so much more traffic and I'm making so much more money. No, they just love working with you. So they want to stay on the list. And I'm so grateful to Scott, because I've been working with him for so long that he's kept me grandfathered in, and we share the benefits back and forth. And it's so nice to have somebody who recognizes that the benefits that I offer, the benefits that he offers, and to value both. And that's what it's become with your clients. Once in a while you come across somebody who only has the currency of money, and you can work with them for a while to see if maybe their currency will shift to something of greater value to you. But you've let some of them go, and that's been okay. A lot of times you'll be going on a call and prepared to let someone go, but they beat you to it. And then you handle it so well that becomes just like another benefit that you offer them. Just they were feeling maybe nervous or their superior thing of, I need to, however individually they prepare for something like that. But it was just so easy that now they still recommend you to someone else because you're just the greatest. And your coaching clients some of them really understand, like they can connect the dots of what's going on with your peaceful valuing of what you know and your experience and what you bring to it. And they can take it and expand on it even further. And others just take it out into the world, and it's turning into profits, and And so they're just feeling the value of it, but they don't really understand the mechanism of it. And that's okay too. You are fed by their worldly accomplishments. And there, there's nothing wrong with the worldly accomplishments. It's only when that becomes the need and the focus that becomes a problem. And that's mine.
Fun. Thank you. Thank you.